I'm Steve Cooperman, Senior Product Manager at Panasonic Media and Entertainment Company for our cinema division. As you can see, Panasonic cameras are used to shoot a wide variety of episodic commercial productions, cinema, and you've seen just a few examples. Really nice projects, including Netflix's Master of None, shot by Mark Schwartzberg, Country Music Television's Sun Records, shot by Bill Wages, ASC, and even some really nice GH5 footage shot in New York City by documentary filmmaker Griffin Hammond. And there's more and more VariCam projects shot every day, both in the US as well as internationally. So Panasonic has been in the digital cinema world for a long time. We pioneered the 24-frame look with the original VariCam as well as the DVX100. And today, you'll see more. 3 years ago, we introduced the current VariCam 35, a 14.5 stop, super 35 millimeter HD-ready camera with beautiful natural colors, plus a unique dual ISO for unique shooting environments. This was followed by the affordable VariCam LT, as well as the all-raw, sleek, new VariCam Pure. And all three of the VariCams share the same great imager, the same dynamic range, as well as they're all HDR ready. So while Panasonic's professional line, while we developed the VariCam on the high end, our consumer colleagues developed the GH series. I've seen many GH cameras around here, including the new GH5, as well as our handheld DVX200 cameras offer 4K professional performance in a small package and with a small price. But we realized there was a space between these two product lines, a gap that we needed to fill. So 2 years ago, our chief engineer, Taka Mitsui, began asking cinematographers worldwide what they needed. And now, I'd like to introduce Taka.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Taka Mitsui. I'm Chief Engineer for Cinema Camera Development. So, Panasonic recognizes that there are no one way to shoot. No matter the job, you kindly shared with us some universal needs, which are smaller is better. Our camera should be comfortable and stable on the shoulder, or lifted overhead, or held just over the ground, or maybe the tripod, on the tripod. So it needs the controls and the functions for the large production crew, but it also has to be usable for the single person, one-man band. It needs to use the inexpensive lens, interchangeable and high-quality lenses. It needs to have the large sensor look. And it should be inexpensive to own and use. So those things are requirements from the cinematographers around the world, and now they are in a camera, which is in my backpack now. So, now is the time to show you. Are you ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? Thanks so much. Thanks so much, but give me 1 second. Are you ready? Thank you so much. Thank you for waiting. So this is the camera which you were all curious about. So, ladies and gentlemen, so this is our new camera. Introducing the EVA1. Thank you. So this is a very special camera. So to tell you about what makes EVA1 special, I will switch to Mitch Gross, Cinema Product Manager.
Thank you, Taka. Okay. So, EVA1 packs a lot of performance into a very small package. It's a professional level camera for the independent filmmaker. EVA1 is small and lightweight, you can see right there. The overall size is just, get ready, 6.69 inches by 5.31 inches by 5.23 inches, and it weighs just 2.65 pounds. And if you want to understand, yes, oh, it deserves the applause. If you want to understand a little bit something about our engineers' dedication to precision, know that Taka insisted that I tell you all those figures to the exact decimal point. The small size and weight makes it ideal for using in a variety of shooting situations. There's a removable hand grip. That hand grip is removable and repositionable, and you can actually slide it off the camera and be able to have an extension, a third-party extension, to be able to put it in a variety of positions for your comfort. Oh, there's those measurements. Now, the top handle and the LCD come off as well. So it lets you use the EVA1 on a gimbal, in a car, stripped down to use on the end of a lightweight jib or squeezed inside an underwater housing. Very petite. In dock-style shooting, the camera sensitivity and versatile lens choices are key. So EVA1 will feature Panasonic's unique dual native ISO sensitivity, and more on that in a little bit. EVA1 also utilizes an EF lens mount, opening up options for many high-quality options. Now, with that EF lens mount also comes EIS, Electronic Image Stabilization. This can help smooth handheld and shoulder mount operating and live shooting events such as sports, weddings, news. Numerous mounting points are also available on EVA1. So Panasonic is already working with various top accessory makers so that the camera can be customized to the user's preference. Independent filmmakers want to put their cameras in all sorts of shooting situations. They ask us for a cinematic look, so the EVA1 features an all-new Super 35 sensor. It's not just a 4K sensor. It's beyond that. So more on that in a little bit too. But know that it can shoot 4K at 24p. Actually, it can shoot 4K up to 60p too. And for special action shots, 2K up to 240 frames a second as well. So there's lots of specs that help no matter what type of shooting. EVA1 checks many boxes. Let's take a look. First off, Vericam look. Beautiful, accurate colors, natural, lifelike skin tones. V-Log and V-Gamut, and a wide dynamic range, captures most difficult lighting situations. 422 10-bit color sampling in a robust file format, up to 400 megabits per second. Great for color correction, great for very robust, rich signal. There's Pro connectivity, including XLR audio inputs, 4K video out over both SDI and HDMI, 4K video output, and timecode in and out. Please applause. It's great. You're my guest. So there's a few technical innovations in EVA1. Dual native ISO is a feature unique to Panasonic. We debuted it in the Vericams. We'll bring it to the EVA1 as well. What is dual native ISO? A lot of people don't quite understand exactly what we're talking about there. Now, all cameras, you can add gain. That's, you can do that on any camera, but it's just going to bring up your noise level. So Panasonic developed a process to read the sensor's photosites in a fundamentally different way. And that lets us extract more information from the sensor without paying any penalty. No raise in noise, no change in your dynamic range. It just becomes more sensitive. That's higher sensitivity without paying a price. That's what you get out of dual native ISO. So we want to take a look at what that looks like so you can really understand what we're talking about. The EVA1 and its sensor are still in development. We're still tweaking things to get it optimized. So because of that, we used the Vericam LT to demonstrate. Can we please roll the dual native ISO demonstration footage? Light out here, please. So on the Vericam LT, the base ISOs are 800 and 5000 ISO. So first we just did an exposure comparison. The base ISO 800, here's just available light, New York City skyline. The lens we had was a T2.9 widest aperture, so that's what you get. And we get at base ISO 5000, 2.6 stops brighter. But you see the noise level stays the same. It's just a much brighter image. Then we did some comparisons by matching your exposure for the finished image. First, we just did it using the lens aperture. So here's, again, base ISO T2.9, by base ISO of 800. And you can look at the image, you see what your relative noise level, it's a nice, again, this is all just available light. And then when we went to 5000, we stopped down the lens to a 5/6 and 2/3. And so you can see that the image stays the same, the noise level remains the same, but hey, now you can use your favorite zoom, or you can just shoot at night with a deep stop so you can have a larger depth of field if you wish. So now we wanted to show you really what you're getting. We matched exposure purely using gain. So 800 ISO, you can gain up like you could do on any camera. So we gained it up to ISO 2500, and that's what you're just seeing here. And there is some noise to the image. That's what would naturally happen when you gain up. But then we took it to ISO 5000, and we gained down to 2500. And you can see that, especially like if you look up in the sky and such, it's very clean, very low noise signal. And again, this is just available light. To make this more clear, so you can really see it, did the same two shots, but we did a 500 times magnification. So this is just a tiny part of the frame. And if you look at, this is ISO, here's some noise, and naturally you would see this in the signal. Just a teeny tiny part of the frame that you're looking at here, base ISO 800, gained up to 2500. But when we take that same picture, but we do it at ISO 5000, look how it really cleans up the picture. So we actually get a higher resolving image and very low noise. This is what you get out of dual native ISO. We can go back to the presentation, please. There we go. So there's the new sensor. It's an all-new sensor designed for the EVA1. It's a Super 35 sensor. We're still optimizing it, like I said, so we can't state the dynamic range just yet. We're just seeing what we're really going to get out of it. And we're not sure exactly what the levels are going to be on the dual native ISO. We don't want to promise something we're not sure yet, but we believe it's going to be quite nice, and you're all going to be happy with it. What we can tell you right now is that it will feature those lovely Vericam colors, and it's also going to have another unique aspect, 5.7K resolution. Now, what can EVA1 do with a 5.7K sensor? A few things. First off, higher resolving 4K. You can hear things where people have talked about what in the past, what does it mean to debayer an image, and do you get that full resolution, and what does that look like? Well, 5.7K answers that. From a 5.7K originating image to get to a 4K picture, you're going to have a very high resolving, full, rich 4K picture. In addition to that, you'll also have more color information because there's simply more reds and greens and blue photosites that you're starting from. So you're going to have a lot more color information to work with for a very rich image. And then finally, in addition to recording a higher quality video internally, in a future firmware update, so the camera will be coming out this fall, as we had said before, but in a future firmware update for the camera, EVA1 will also be able to output 5.7K RAW. We're working with partner companies now for recording that and being able to process that material. EVA1 also expands on a feature that is in the Vericam LT. In that camera, there is an infrared IR cut filter, and you can remove that. I mean, pretty much all cameras have an IR cut filter, and you can, on the Vericam LT, you take off the lens and you can physically remove it. Well, on EVA1, in the menus, a touch of a button, you can swing it out on the little motor. So it's a removable IR filter. Well, what does that do for you? Why would you want that? Let's play the infrared demo video, please. So again, this is because EVA1 is still in development process, where this is Vericam LT footage with the IR cut filter removed. So it's just like taking in and out the, doing the ND filters. It's just a push of the button. So we have different ND filters on the camera. You can also swing in and out the IR cut filter. It allows you to flood the sensor with IR light, with infrared light. And in fact, you can get a filter that you just put on in front of your lens that is a visible light filter. That's what it means by, it says the 680 nanometer filter. That's basically cutting all visible light but letting infrared pass. And then we swing out the IR cut filter. So basically the only thing hitting the sensor at that point is infrared. And you can see you can get all these very wild, interesting effects. Very, fascinating looking colors. It's, it's sort of a whatever artistically you might want to do with that. And then in addition to that sort of unique look for daylight photography, you can enhance your nighttime photography. So there was some day for night sort of looking images, but then also at nighttime, you can get unique looking nighttime footage and sort of a night vision sort of effect. All available with the EV1 with just swinging out the IR cut filter. We can go back to the presentation, please. So EVA1 is powerful, it's versatile, it's compact, yet very full featured, and it will be affordable to own and use. High quality EF lenses. With the high quality EF mount glass, it's available at prices for all budgets. It's available from many different manufacturers. There's a lot of manufacturers here at the show today that have their lenses available with different mounts, including EF. And there's also adapters available so that you can use some legacy glass on an EF lens mount. So it makes it a very, very versatile way to work. EVA1 is also small enough to transport easily, as we saw. Taka pulled out the camera right there. I'm going to actually, there's our viewfinder there. So it's very small to transport. You can get to the shoot very quickly, and you don't have to pay expensive shipping charges. And EVA1 has dual card slots, SD cards. So that's inexpensive, reliable, easily purchased in the field. You can plug them into most laptop computers to be able to download your footage, and if your computer so happens to not have an SD card slot, adapters are just a few dollars, and again, they're available anywhere. So how much would you pay for a camera as compact and yet powerful as the EVA1? Well, let's look at those specs again. So the sensor is Super 35, 5.7K resolution, dual native ISO, Vericam colors, beautiful colors, V-Log and V-Gamut, lens mount, EF, electronic image stabilization, IR cut filter that can swing in and out, ND filter wheel built in, 2, 4, and 6 stops. Processing, 4K 60p, up to 60p, 2K up to 240 frames a second, 422 10-bit available, 400 megabits per second recording available, record onto inexpensive SD cards, 5.7K raw output coming in the future, XLR audio inputs, HDMI and SDI 4K video outputs, timecode in and out, and I'm not going to go into all those numbers. It's really small and really lightweight. Those are just some of the preliminary specs. This is just a preview. We're going to have more information over the course of the summer as we get towards the fall when the camera comes out. Know that EVA1 sits comfortably between the Vericam LT and the GH5 in size, in capabilities, and in price. So how much would you pay for all of that? 15 grand? 10 grand? Less than $8,000. Thank you all for coming. Please visit the Panasonic booth on stage 15, booth S225, to see EVA1 up close. And for more information for everyone here, if you would like, we have in the lobby, we have a lovely young lady who is with a badge scanner, so we'll be sure to send you information, as well as we have some lovely swag, that's EVA1 swag, available to hand out to you. Thank you for coming.